please give her a very warm welcome. She's here tonight to talk about imposter syndrome. As you can see, I'm sure we've all experienced that at some point in time. Please give her a very, very warm welcome.
Thank you. I do usually request applauses whenever I enter a room, so that was perfect. A bit about me. So my name is Sarah. I previously worked at Sky. I was head of technology for Sky News for quite a few years, and then recently went through redundancy last year, which makes it sound ages ago, but like last year was actually pretty recent. And then I've recently started a new job at Optum as a technical director. Optum, people give me really blank faces when I say Optum. It used to be EMIS, which is more people. Look, the whole room went. Yeah. So they basically got rebranded so that no one would recognise them. I don't know, but so I'm a technical director there, relatively new. And this is a topic that I've kind of been wanting to talk about for a while. I've kind of had some sort of seeds of ideas through speaking to various people, and I think like it really came to the forefront for me and sort of gave me a bit more inspiration through going through the redundancy kind of highs and lows. I know a lot of people in technology at the moment are going through that kind of thing or being threatened by it, and it really makes you doubt yourself. So I wanted to kind of speak through some coping strategies that I have anyway. I'm certainly no expert, but I know what works for me. So I'd like to sort of share that. And I'd like to say beforehand, all of my images that AI generated, and I was really, so I can't do a talk without mentioning it. So that was it mentioned. Also, I went through it with my husband yesterday. It took me 1 minute 50 seconds to do the whole thing. So I might finish early. But I do tend to, the thing is I tend to like fill like I'm doing right now. So the first thing I want to talk about, and that's that I have got friends and mentees and people that I coach that say to me, oh yeah, no, I've got imposter syndrome. Like I've had it like basically forever. And that's the thing that inspired me, because I then get on my soapbox and I talk at them for all this time around like, if you had a medical problem, how long would you leave it before you sought help or did something about it or took some medication? Like it's not, although it's common, it's not okay to just leave it to dwindle for ages. Like if it's something that's causing you problems or it's been going on for a long time, like you should think about like making some changes and doing something about it. So I was trying to think of a medical condition that I could talk about, and I decided I was like a cold. Everyone's had a cold, right? But if your cold goes on for more than a couple of weeks, like if you had a cold solidly for 3 months, that's no longer okay, right? Like the fact that you've had it and everyone's had it, and it's like, anyway, you get the idea. You should do something about it. And then, so my really high level, like here's in Sarah's mind what causes imposter syndrome. And I'm not gonna, you'll notice, I did all my slides and everything, and then I put into AI just to make sure I'd covered everything. What should I cover? And they said the first thing you should do is tell everyone what it is. And I was like, there's not going to be one person in that room that doesn't know what it is. That's like, I've literally never heard those words before. Just check in. No one's like, I've never heard of this thing. Insane. Good. Okay. So the first thing is probably temporary, like that cold that you may be just going to have for a couple of weeks, where you've maybe got a new job. You've maybe got a new boss. These are all things that have happened to me. You've maybe returned from leave, like maybe you've been off like long-term sick, or maybe you've come back from maternity leave or paternity leave. You come back to your job and you're like, oh my God, can I actually remember my job? Do I know what I'm doing? Or additional responsibilities, like maybe your job's changing through the times, as it does. There's a whole load of stuff at the moment that I've seen with people where people's jobs are evolving and changing. Like test jobs are getting more automated, and I think that could be a scary thing. The Scrum Master role is evolving and changing, and I think the whole like introduction of AI and companies wanting to like use it more and more can be a pretty daunting thing as well. And I think like recognizing that that's a temporary change in your job and it's not going to last forever. Like this too shall pass. So temporary. Hang on. Usually this is a beer. To the next one. Self-awareness, and like this is the one that might be like a little bit spicy, but for some people, some of the time, the reason that they don't think that they're good enough is because they're not. So, like, I've certainly had people come to me that have said, "Oh, I don't think I'm good at my job. I think I can improve on these things," and I'm like, "Yeah, Yeah, you could actually. Yeah. What are you going to do about it? You can't label that imposter syndrome forever and just ignore it and say, I've got imposter syndrome, therefore this is okay. And everyone else has imposter syndrome. Sometimes you thinking that you can do better is because there is something that you can do better. So my little like flow chart of how to think about it is there something you could actually be better at? Would it make you better at your job if you were better at that thing? Sometimes the answer is no, and you've imagined something that you need to be better at, and actually it wouldn't make a difference. I've got a good example in a minute, something I did. And then, like, if there's something that you want to be better at, and it would make you better at your job, do you have a plan in place to be better at that thing? Like, what do you do? Do you go to training courses? 15% off. You're welcome. Or do you do a training course? Do you speak to a mentor or someone that can coach and help you through it? Do you do some internet research? There's a raft of things you can do, but do you have plan in place to actually get better at that thing? And my little example here was me. I got us, some of the people in the room that know me well will know exactly what I'm talking about, so good story. I got a new boss. Yeah. He was a lovely man, and one of the things that he kept saying to me, I have worked in technology for years. I was head of technology at Sky. I was technology for that. Like my entire adult career, I've been working in technology. And he said to me, I know that you're not very technical, but I think that's okay. And we can work through it. And there's other things that you're good at. And I thought to him, how dare you? I was like, what evidence have you got? My job doesn't require me to do, it requires me to understand technical detail and to make decisions and to give direction. It doesn't require, if I sit coding or testing or analysing, I am probably not working at the right level for my role. So anyway, him saying that, and I was like, can I code well? No. Could I code well? Yeah, like I'm pretty bright. I can figure that out. So I in this instance, to try and help myself out here, I signed up for a GCSE. Right? I did last year. I did a GCSE in computer science. You have to learn. You get to choose which coding language you learn. I went for Python because apparently it's the easiest, and I was like, I do have to do a job on top of this. So I had to learn how to code in Python. You do a load of networking stuff. You do a load of there's loads of different modules, and it's quite broad. If anyone is of the mindset of, oh, like I need to be a bit more technical, have a little look. It was quite expensive, but maybe you've got like a budget to do training at work, and it was a lot. And then I had to sit in an actual room with 16-year-olds, do my exam. I've never felt older in my life. So it's changed, but it's still those little desks in the rows. So so I went to Birmingham and sat my actual exam. And then ironically, I was made redundant pretty soon after that. And then while I was off on redundancy, I got my results. And I scored a 9, which is pretty good. It's pretty good. I was really, really proud of that. And it's the highest. When I got to a 9, I was like, is it 9? I need it's basically the highest one that you can get. So I was really, really pleased with that. But yeah, so that's like an example of has it made me any better at my job? No. But has it helped my confidence doing it and given me a nice story of hey, if you feel like you've got something, maybe there's something you can do about it? Yeah. So I think I didn't want to make people feel bad with this slide. I wanted to that's more about me and learn the thing, whatever it is that's getting you. This is give me an image of a confident-looking Lego person. That's the prompt. I like it anyway. So the other thing of the maybe it's temporary, maybe there actually is something that you can do better, maybe it's self-awareness. And then the other thing I've got is self-confidence. So it's the how confident you are in your own ability is such a huge part of it, and that's the biggest one, which is why it's it's one at the end, kind of at the end. You'll see. And I wanted to talk a little bit about confidence because those people that know me now, I think see someone that will stand in front of a room and talk in front of people and maybe enjoys it and we'll have a bit of banter with it. And actually when I was at school or when I was a kid, I had an awful stutter. I would not talk to anyone. When I first left uni, I was offered a job and they said, I was temping. So I was just doing data input and they said, we want to offer you a job in test. we basically want you in the job, but you have to like pretend to do an interview. And the thought of going into a room and being questioned by people, I was like, no, thank you. Nope. And I turned it down because I was so scared of speaking to like 2 people in a room that were asking me questions where they'd basically already said that I'd got the job. So that was something where I decided that I wanted to become more confident and did something about it and sort of put an action plan in place. And I did not go straight into speaking to big rooms of people. I did like some little 5-minute snippets of talks, or I'd find there'd be a meeting that I'd go in and I'd think, do you know what, I'm going to say this thing in that meeting, and I'd prepare and I'd go in and I'd make sure that I said it. And it grew over time. Like when people don't, like when they're laughing at you for the right reasons, it's good. And like literally no one's ever been like, oh my God, why are you saying that thing? Why you stood up doing that? Like you look ridiculous. It's literally never happened. And one of the things that I've learned is that if you think you've got a bit of a quiver in your voice, which in the early days you probably will because everyone's human, no one else can hear it. Or if you think that your leg might be shaking, no one else can see it, and you can do things like moving around a little bit and just like getting the blood flowing. So I guess like if confidence is something that you feel that you need to build, and I think everyone could do with a bit more confidence. It's lovely. I've never met anyone that's overly confident. This guy. But like set a small realistic goal. So like chip away at it. Don't think that being confident, I could compare it with like fitness because I'm clearly in the best shape of my life right now, but like it's mostly cheese. But like think of it as you would with fitness. If you went to the gym based on like Sarah's Christmas bod, you're not going to get much done, or you're going to pull a muscle if you go too hard. So choose something small and chip away, and don't expect miracles immediately. It's the kind of thing that does build over time. And eventually, when you look back at how far you've come in a year, 2 to 5 years, Fibonacci, you'll be really like pleased with how you've come. So, and then find your cheerleaders. So there's people around you that will support. This group will be great for that kind of thing. Like if you want to, if public speaking was the kind of thing you wanted to look at doing, for example, this is a really supportive group, like the kind of people that will cheer you on regardless. And if you think you've already got confidence, be someone else's cheerleader. It's lovely. There's nothing nicer than feeling like you're egging someone on. This is kind of still self-confidence, but like, I don't know how I feel about his pants situation. Anyway, a little bit Superman, but not. Anyway, it's AI. So I think some of this is and it's the same as the confidence, but the self-worth. Thinking about how you speak about and to yourself, and making sure that you do that as if you're talking to and about someone that you care about and that you love and that you want to do well. Because if you are talking to yourself in a harsh way that you wouldn't talk to, for example, a child in, how do you expect yourself to succeed? Like you need to talk yourself up, and you need to celebrate your successes and be a bit nice to yourself. There's a real like this is going to sound a bit woo, so excuse me for a minute with my space vibes. But one of the things that I do, so I've had some sort of personal coaching. It was around like food, nutrition and stuff, but part of it was that like learning to be kind to yourself. And one of the things that I do that I find really helps is to think back to a previous version of yourself when you were struggling in some way, and have a conversation with yourself back then. Like, what would you say to you back then? Like, how would you talk? Would you tell yourself that it's going to be okay? You know it's hard, but you know you're going to get through it, and actually you're going to get through it better, and you're going to be happy, and everything's going to be all right. So think of how you would talk to yourself back then, and do that mentally in your head. And the next time you're going through something hard, and I genuinely felt this when I had the redundancy thing, like imagine the future you telling yourself that it's going to be okay, that it's going to work out all right, and that like you're almost sending yourself that positive energy, and you can really feel it, and you can't argue with it because it's yourself. Like if Me's telling me that it's going to be okay, like Me really knows what she's talking about, so she must be fine. So yeah, like the self-worth and the getting used to. I did a women in leadership course thing quite early in my career at Sky, and one of the things they got us to do is to like physically talk to each other. It sounds mad, but you'll see what I mean. But sort of in pairs, talk to each other. If you list out 5 things that you think you need to improve on, people will be like, oh, I need to be more confident. I need to, I don't know, work on my spelling. I can't think of anything now. But that, they'll just give you a list of things. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here are the things I need to be better at. And when you say to them, okay, now tell me 5 things that you're good at. People don't go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They go well, someone once told me that I can sometimes be good at this thing. There's a whole like narrative that goes around it because we're so afraid of saying I'm good at this thing. And then ending it there without like a justification of why I'm being so kind to myself. Like you're allowed to just say, I'm good at this thing. And there's a difference, I think, between being honest about your ability and self-importance, because I think that's what people worry about. They worry about looking big-headed or looking like you're bragging. And I think actually practicing just saying what you're good at because you know that you're good at it, and then it comes in really useful for interviews later on, I have to say. And then my final thing aside is just the power of yet. So when you find yourself doing the things that you can't do, just adding yet to the end is really powerful. Maybe I'm going to build myself a plan to get better at that thing. I'm not confident enough yet, and here's what I'm doing about it. Or I'm not technical enough yet, and here's what I'm doing about it. Like there's a whole like I like to remind myself a little yet at the end if I catch myself, and then come up with a plan. And then the plan tends to be excessive, like doing an entire GCSE to a year. So I thought it was really important because a lot of people in this room are either already leaders or you will be leaders in your space, whether you know it or not. People will look to you for leadership because you go to these kind of things. So you will already be with a certain mindset. And that is how to help other people that are maybe in your team or in your near surroundings that are suffering from imposter syndrome. One of those is to show vulnerability and talk about your own story. Ta-da! People don't mind hearing about it either. Like people are more than willing. Like I think as a leader, when you show vulnerability, it doesn't make you look any weaker. It actually makes you look stronger because you've got a good story to tell and a good sort of coping mechanism as to how you got around. People don't expect this like brick wall of a leader anymore. I think it's very 1980s. Shoulder pads. Don't undermine yourself to make others comfortable. So because I've got a quote on the next slide that I'll talk about as well. But I think like it's tempting. I certainly do a lot of like self-deprecation, and it's really hard for that self-deprecation not to turn into something that you're actually believing. Like when you're saying, "Oh well, don't trust me," and I've only done this for so long, or I'm not that bright, and it's really hard. Like you need to find the right balance between being that kind of approachable level of self-deprecating without just putting yourself down for putting yourself down. Like, don't put yourself down to make other people comfortable. I should have ended on that. That's a good one. And encouraging feedback. I'm not going to. Encouraging feedback. And then these two are kind of in the same area, really. So when someone is struggling with imposter syndrome and they're in your team, giving them feedback, both positive and negative feedback. But I think we're quite good in general. Some are anyway, with the negative feedback, and then we structure it in a certain way. What did you do? What was the outcome? What could you do differently? All this kind of stuff. We don't do the same with positive. And when someone's struggling with imposter syndrome, letting them know they did a thing really well, how they did it well, what the situation was, what they did, what the outcome was of that good thing that they did is actually really, really useful for them to have that like solid evidence of like things that they're doing well. This is create a Lego image of a Lego character in a Shakespearean play. I like him. I was pretty pleased. AI. These are just some quotes that I've heard that I think are relevant. I've not gone too left field with them. The first one, I don't know if I like it so much because of that like don't put yourself down to make other people comfortable thing, or if it's like a don't shrink yourself. And being such a statuesque woman, like there's definitely been a whole thing certainly in my youth where like I wouldn't wear heels and like I like had to feel smaller so that people wouldn't, I don't know, notice that I'm tall. And I think that's obviously like the actual quote is around like not putting yourself down and being like if you're excellent at something, show off about being excellent about something. But yeah, I think it's the shrink bit that I can borrow away. And then I don't know why. I heard this one like last year. When you stop people pleasing, don't be surprised when people stop being pleased. Blew my mind. And it's so obvious, so obvious. I people please all the time. Like if you ask me for a favor, I will do it. Even if I put myself out like awfully, I will do it. Like I will do anything for anyone. And it's a real people pleasing thing. And it does mean that I tend to use a lot of energy on other people and not as much on myself. So it's something that I'm working on. And I heard this last year and I was like, oh my God, yeah. Anyway, Well, I hope that someone else feels as mind blown by that as me. And then a little cheesy one to end with. So self-confidence is a superpower. Once you start to believe in yourself, magic starts to happen. And that's it. That's the end.